When we look at methods of training and training types and energy systems, we also must look at principles of training. These are basic rules that help us maximise the benefits of our training. It's like an action plan that will help us be successful in our attempt of getting fitter and stronger and maybe even better at our sport. The first one we're going to look at is overload. Basically, we need to make the body adapt. It has to be forced to work harder than it normally does. So you need to overload your current system. So for example, if I'm going to run a 5 kilometre race, I need to make sure that I'm able to run above that and look at increasing the time that it takes or decreasing the time that it takes, etc. Frequency is a principle, and basically it's how often you train. So for example, for aerobic improvement, it's recommended that you train a minimum of 3 times a week, and must be above the 20-minute mark. Intensity is how hard you train. This is based on heart rate, maximum heart rates, etc. Also, the intensity when doing weight training may be based on the load or the amount of exercises or sets and reps you're doing. Time or duration is a time, basically how long you're training for. This can both be in an individual training session, or it may be for the whole program. So you may train for an hour a day but train for 12 weeks. Type is the method of training that you are training, so it might be continuous resistance circuit or interval. Specificity, basically you need to apply your training specific to the needs of the sport. That may be muscle specificity, energy systems, and maybe even skills. Important to note that you really need to be specific in the energy systems you're training for. Progression, basically you obviously might plateau and keep the same, but you need to make sure that things are getting progressively harder for you and your body's able to adapt. Reversibility, whatever you gain you can lose. Fitness levels will drop quickly if you are inactive for extended periods of time. Variety is important, or another common term is also tedium. Basically it means that you don't get bored with the training, you're not doing the same thing over and over and over again. Rest is also important. It reduces the risk of injury and it allows for recovery and training adaptations to occur. Basically the definition of rest is allowing your body to adapt. So these are some common principles of training and they can be applied to your methods of training. For example, if we look at the FIT principle, the FITT principle, when we're looking at continuous training, the frequency needs to be 3 to 4 times a week. The intensity would be 60 to 80% of your maximum heart rate. The time would be a minimum of 20 minutes, and the type obviously is continuous training.